Young man, stop for a moment. Think about the last time you found yourself confused, wondering if that woman really wanted you, or if you were just another distraction in her day. I know how it feels to constantly question yourself, to replay conversations in your head, searching for clues she left behind. It's draining, it's exhausting, and most importantly, it chips away at your confidence. But here's the truth: women are not as mysterious as the world makes them out to be. When a woman wants to give herself to you, she will not leave you in the dark. She will always ask you about two things. Always. It's not accidental. It's not random. It's intentional. And if you, as a man, are not awake, if you're not tuned into your own value, your own worth, your own ability to see through the fog, you'll miss it. You'll sit in uncertainty while the opportunity for real connection slips through your hands. This is not just about intimacy. This is about you reclaiming your power. This is about you knowing when a woman sees you as more than just a friend, when she desires you, when she's ready for something deeper. By the end of this, you will not only know what to listen for, you will know how to stand in your truth as a man who is wanted, valued, and unforgettable. Men, listen to me carefully. One of the biggest lies you've been told is that women are impossible to understand, that their signals are always mixed, that their intentions are always hidden, that you need to be a mind reader to know if she wants you. That is not true. A woman who desires you will always express it, and she will do so in ways you cannot mistake if only you learn to pay attention. See, attraction is not a silent force. It is not a whisper in the dark. Attraction wants to be felt, it wants to be seen, it wants to be acknowledged. Think about this: when a woman is drawn to a man, her instincts don't allow her to hide it completely. Her body language changes, her voice softens, her eyes linger. She gives you room, space to step closer into her world. She wants you to notice. She needs you to notice. The problem is, many of you are so lost in doubt, so consumed by insecurity that you miss it. You convince yourself that she's just being nice. You assume her questions are casual, her attention is meaningless, her care is ordinary. But let me tell you this: women don't invest their energy in men they don't want. If she is leaning in, asking, engaging, checking in, it's not random, it's intentional. You see, desire is expressed in behavior, not in words. She may never come out and say, "I want you," but she will show you. She will initiate conversation. She will look for ways to extend the time you share. She will open the door for intimacy without ever having to declare it outright. And here's the deeper truth: when you fail to recognize this expression, you rob yourself of your own masculine power. Because desire is not hidden, it is waiting for you to claim it, to step into it, to respond with confidence. So stop telling yourself that women are confusing. Stop playing blind to the signals right in front of you. Start seeing desire for what it is: expressed, intentional, undeniable. When you recognize this, you won't have to chase. You won't have to beg. You'll understand that a woman's desire is already speaking. It's just waiting for you to listen. A woman who truly desires you will always find a way to ask about your time. Pay close attention, because this is never casual. When she says, "What are you doing later?" or "When are you free?" she is not just filling the silence with small talk. She's opening a door. That question is her invitation. That question is her way of carving out space for you in her life. Think about it. Time is the most valuable resource we have. We spend it only on what we want, on who we value, on what makes us feel alive. A woman who is not interested will never go out of her way to ask about your time. Why? Because she doesn't care how you spend it. But a woman who desires you wants to know, because she's already imagining herself inside that time with you. Here's the mistake many men make: they treat these questions as surface level curiosity. They shrug it off. They answer casually, or worse, they don't see it at all. They don't realize that when a woman asks about your schedule, she's sending a clear signal. I want to be included. I want to be considered. I want to share space with you. And here's the deeper truth: when a woman seeks your time, it's not just about an activity, it's about intimacy. She wants to see how you prioritize her. She wants to know if she matters enough for you to open a slot in your busy world. Time is the testing ground for desire. It reveals who and what is important. So, young man, ask yourself, are you awake enough to see it? Or are you still walking blind, believing women hide everything? Because a woman who wants you will never stay completely silent. She will ask about your time because she wants to be part of it. And if you're a high value man, you don't respond with desperation. You don't drop everything to prove yourself. Instead, you recognize the signal, you appreciate it, and you create space on your terms. That balance is what makes you powerful. That balance is what transforms her curiosity into deeper desire. Remember, your time is your life. If she's asking for it, it means she wants more than just a conversation. She wants you. Pay attention because this one is subtle but powerful. When a woman desires you, she will not only ask about your time, she will ask about your comfort. She will want to know if you're tired, if you've eaten, if you got home safely, if you're okay. And you might think that's just kindness, that's just politeness. But let me tell you, women don't extend that kind of care to men they don't desire. Think about it. Comfort is intimacy, it's closeness. When she's checking on you, she's doing more than asking surface level questions. She's showing you that you're well, being matters to her, that your body, your energy, your state of mind is something she's concerned about. She's essentially saying, I'm invested in you. Men often ignore this signal because they've been conditioned to believe women are either all in or not interested. But real desire often shows up in these softer, nurturing moments. A woman who doesn't care about you won't text, did you get home okay? She won't ask if you've eaten today. She won't remind you to take a break or rest. But the woman who wants to be close to you, who wants her world to merge with yours, she will. And here's the deeper truth: comfort is her way of preparing the ground for intimacy. Why? Because no woman wants to give herself to a man who looks drained, distracted, or disconnected. By asking about your comfort, she's checking to see if you're ready, ready for her, ready for connection, ready to receive her affection. High value men understand this. They don't dismiss her concern as something ordinary. They recognize it as her way of signaling deeper interest. And here's the twist: it's not about dependency. She's not mothering you. She's not trying to control you. She's expressing desire in a way that women naturally do, by showing care, by protecting the space that exists between you. So the next time she asks, are you okay? Did you eat? Don't roll your eyes. Don't brush it off. See it for what it is: an opening, a green light, a woman's subtle but undeniable way of saying, I want you, and I care enough to make sure you're ready for me. Never confuse her comfort with casual kindness. Desire always reveals itself in care. One of the greatest mistakes men make is confusing noise for signals. You see, the world is full of noise, casual smiles, polite conversations, empty gestures. But signals are intentional. Signals are the quiet but deliberate ways a woman communicates her desire. And this is where high value men set themselves apart. They don't waste time chasing noise, they lock in on the signals. Most men spend their energy guessing, overanalyzing, or projecting their desires onto women who are not giving anything real back. They mistake politeness for attraction, friendliness for desire, attention for intimacy. That's why so many men end up frustrated, rejected, and emotionally drained, because they are chasing noise. But the man who knows his worth, the man who carries himself with self-respect, he sees the difference. He understands that when a woman truly wants him, she won't stay in the shadows. She will ask about his time. She will care about his comfort. She will open doors for him to step closer. She will not leave him in confusion. And here's the truth: high value men don't beg for clarity. They don't bombard a woman with questions like, do you like me? Are you interested? Do you want me? They read the signs, they recognize the signals, and because they are grounded in their value, they respond with calm confidence, not desperation. That's the key: confidence. A man who knows his worth doesn't panic when he sees a signal. He doesn't rush. He doesn't fumble. He doesn't overthink. He steps into the moment with clarity. He allows the woman's actions to reveal the truth, and he mirrors it with masculine certainty. If you want to transform your dating life, stop drowning in the noise. Stop wasting energy on women who show you nothing intentional. Focus on signals, those consistent, deliberate cues that reveal real desire. Because the man who sees signals clearly doesn't have to chase, doesn't have to beg, doesn't have to doubt. He moves with certainty, And that certainty is what makes him irresistible. Noise is confusion. Signals are clarity. High value men live in clarity. Let me tell you something every man needs to hear. Intimacy is never just about the physical. It may start with attraction, with chemistry, with sparks flying, but lasting desire is built on something deeper, emotional connection. And for a woman, this is the hidden door. If she is asking you about your thoughts, your dreams, your struggles, your victories, understand this. She's doing more than making conversation. She's building a bridge to your heart. A woman who wants only attention will talk on the surface. She'll laugh, she'll banter, but she won't dig deeper. But a woman who truly desires you will want to know what moves you. She will ask questions that peel back the layers. How was your day? What do you want for your future? What's been on your mind? These are not empty words, they are keys. Keys unlocking the emotional space that leads to intimacy. And here's the reality. A man who overlooks this will miss his greatest chance at connection. Too many men focus only on physical signals, body language, touch, flirtation, but they ignore the emotional cues, which are often even stronger indicators of desire. If she invests in your story, if she listens intently, if she remembers the small details you told her days ago, brother, she's not just being nice. She's choosing to step closer into your life. High value men understand this. They know that emotional intimacy is what separates fleeting encounters from real desire. They recognize that when a woman creates emotional space, she's saying, I want to connect with you beyond the surface. And here's the truth. Once a woman feels safe with you emotionally, she naturally opens up physically. The emotional door always leads to the physical one. So don't dismiss her questions. Don't brush past the conversations where she's showing. You see, most men think that texting is just about sending words on a screen. But what they often miss is that every message you send either builds tension or deflates it. And this is where the power of playful mystery comes in. If you want to stand out in a woman's mind, you must stop trying to be instantly understood. Instead, you should become intriguingly unreadable, at least a little. Let's be honest. Predictability kills attraction. When your texts are too clear, too fast, or too safe, they leave nothing for her mind to play with. And the feminine mind loves to play. It loves storylines. It loves to decode, to analyze subtext. She wants to wonder what you meant. She wants to feel something shift in her when she reads your message. Not because you said something dramatic, but because the energy behind your words created a ripple. Think about it. The male tendency is to go straight to the point. What are you doing later? How was your day? I miss you. There's nothing wrong with these lines, but they don't spark emotion. They just pass information. Now imagine instead of asking, how was your day? You say, something tells me you conquered the world today, didn't you? It's playful. It's confident. And most importantly, it leaves room for her imagination. Psychologically, mystery works because it activates the brain's reward system. Dopamine is triggered not by getting what we want, but by anticipating it. That's why slot machines are addictive, and that's why some people obsess over someone they can't quite figure out. When you're slightly unpredictable, when your messages carry a hint of humor, a splash of challenge, or just a small gap she has to mentally fill in, you activate that loop. She starts thinking about you between texts. That's where the real connection is built, not in the message, but in the mental space you occupy. Now, mystery doesn't mean being cold or cryptic for no reason. It's not about playing games. It's about depth. It's about offering a version of yourself that invites curiosity instead of laying everything bare. You don't need to explain every detail. You don't need to respond the second she messages you. What you need is to trust that giving less upfront creates more desire down the line.
Philosophically, humans are drawn to the unknown because it represents possibility. And attraction, in its purest form, is the hunger for possibility. A woman doesn't fall for a man because he tells her exactly who he is in one text exchange. She falls when he suggests who he might be, then lets her discover it piece by piece. That discovery process is where emotional attachment is formed. So how do you apply this practically? First, edit your texts before you send them. Ask, is this predictable? Or does it make her smile and wonder just a little? Use metaphors, use playful exaggeration, use callbacks to past conversations. And when appropriate, tease her in a way that shows you're not trying to impress her, but simply enjoying the interaction. Remember, it's not about manipulation, it's about mastery. You're learning how to communicate in a way that resonates with how women are wired emotionally and psychologically. When you become the man whose messages feel like little mental adventures, you become unforgettable. Because in the end, it's not mystery for mystery's sake. It's about evoking emotion. And emotion, not logic, is what women respond to most. Leave her wondering. Let her smile at her phone, reread your message, and think to herself, what did he mean by that? That's when you know you're no longer just texting. You're creating tension, and tension is the spark that leads to everything else. Here's something that most men don't realize until it's too late. Women don't respond to facts. They respond to feelings. You can send the most articulate, well-structured message in the world, but if it doesn't make her feel something, it won't stick. Emotional energy is the real currency of texting. It's not about the words you use, it's about the emotional tone behind them. Men tend to approach texting like solving a problem. Let me be clear, let me be direct, let me explain. But women, especially in romantic contexts, aren't looking for a problem solver. They're looking for resonance. They want to feel like you get them, even when they don't make perfect sense. Emotional attunement matters more than linguistic precision. It's not about accuracy, it's about vibe. So what does this mean in practice? It means that if she's telling you about a tough day, she doesn't want a list of solutions. She wants to feel seen. She wants to feel safe expressing her emotion. And that starts with how you receive her text, not how you fix her world. If she says, oh, my boss was on my case all day, don't say, you should stand up for yourself. That's logical. That's masculine, but it's not emotionally connecting. Instead say, that sucks. I swear your boss wakes up thinking, how do I ruin her vibe today? It's empathetic. It's playful. And it validates her feeling, not just her words. This is key. Women bond through shared emotion. And if your texts are emotionally flat, you might feel like you're communicating, but she'll feel like something's missing. You could be texting every day and still feel distant. That's the danger of mistaking activity for intimacy. Emotionally rich texting doesn't mean being dramatic or sappy. It means being present in the conversation. Mirror her energy. If she's excited, match her excitement. If she's quiet, don't bombard her with hype. Tune into her state, not just her statements. And when you do that, she feels connected to you without needing to analyze why. Now, this goes deeper than just technique. Philosophically, emotion is what gives meaning to experience. We remember things not because they happened, but because of how they felt. The same is true in romantic communication. If your texts are emotionally charged, even subtly, she'll remember them long after the words fade. She won't recall the exact message, but she'll remember how she felt when she read it. The beauty of emotional connection is that it doesn't require effort. It requires presence. It requires you to stop texting from your head and start engaging from your gut. You don't need to be a poet or a psychologist. You just need to care enough to tune in, to listen with more than just your eyes, to speak with more than just your thumbs. So yes, timing matters. Yes, Being mysterious helps. But without emotional energy, none of it lands. Because emotion is the soul of communication. And soul is what she's really looking for. Never forget, when a woman says, I just like talking to him, what she really means is, I feel good when I talk to him. That feeling, that's your power. Lead with that, and she'll never forget how you made her feel. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked in texting: timing. Most men focus so much on what to say, they forget that when you say it can completely shift how it's received. Timing isn't just a logistical detail, it's a psychological lever. It's subtle, it's powerful, and it makes the difference between being intriguing and being forgettable. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about playing games or being intentionally unresponsive to manipulate someone. That's not what this is about. This is about understanding emotional rhythm. Because attraction is built not only in the presence of attention, but also in its absence. It's the contrast that creates desire. You see, the human brain is wired to crave patterns, but also to be stimulated by interruptions to those patterns. When you're too available, too immediate with your replies, you become, and once a woman can fully predict you, she may stop wondering about you. And when she stops wondering, the emotional pull starts to weaken. You become a routine, not a mystery. There's a principle in psychology called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same thing that keeps people glued to slot machines or addicted to social media. When responses, likes, wins, replies come at irregular intervals, they feel more rewarding. Not because they're better, but because they're less predictable. This isn't just theory, it's behavioral science. If every time she messages you, she gets an instant reply, she stops appreciating it. But if sometimes there's a pause, a delay, or a shift in rhythm, it actually heightens her emotional engagement. Now, here's the key. Those pauses only work if the quality of your interaction is already strong. If you're boring or emotionally flat, a delay won't build tension. It will just feel like disinterest. But if your texts already create emotion, if you've already laid the groundwork with playfulness, depth, and vibe, then timing becomes the amplifier. The silence between your messages starts to feel charged, not empty. Philosophically, space is what allows meaning to emerge. Think of music. It's not just the notes that create the feeling, it's the space between the notes. In relationships, that space is just as critical. A bit of distance, a bit of unpredictability allows feelings to rise to the surface. It gives the other person room to miss you, to think about you, to desire the next interaction. Constant communication can become emotional noise, but well-placed silence, that's what creates signal. This also ties into masculine energy. Masculine presence is not needy. It doesn't chase, it leads. And leading sometimes means being still, being quiet, allowing space to speak louder than words. Women can sense when a man is texting out of anxiety or fear of losing attention, and they pull away. But when your timing shows calm confidence, when it says, I enjoy our connection, but I'm not afraid to pause, she feels the security in that. She doesn't interpret the silence as disinterest. She feels it as strength. And of course, this all must be balanced. Don't fall into the trap of overcalculating your replies like it's chess. The goal isn't manipulation, it's awareness. You're not trying to trick her. You're showing that you're a man in control of his own rhythm, that you're not a slave to urgency, that your attention is intentional, not reactive. So if you want to be the man she thinks about when she puts her phone down, remember this. Sometimes it's not your words that draw her in, it's your silence. Let's bring this all together with the one trait that underpins every texting secret we've talked about so far. confidence. Without it, mystery feels like avoidance. Emotional connection feels like overcompensation. Timing feels like, but with confidence, everything you say or don't say has weight, has presence, has power. Now, most men confuse confidence with bravado. They think it's about showing off, being overly assertive, or sending a flurry of messages just to keep her attention. But true confidence is quieter than that. It's not in how loud you are, but in how certain you are of yourself. And in texting, that certainty shows up in how you lead. A man who leads doesn't wait passively for her to make all the moves. He initiates, he suggests, he frames the direction of the conversation, not in a controlling way, but in a way that signals decisiveness. So instead of saying, "What do you want to do this weekend?" which sounds unsure, passive, you say, "Let's hit that new rooftop spot Saturday. I've heard it's got the best sunset views." It's simple, direct. It doesn't demand. It invites. And that's what makes it magnetic. Because women don't just respond to who you are, they respond to how you see yourself. If your messages constantly seek approval, "Was that okay? Did you like that? Are you still interested?" What you're really broadcasting is insecurity. And the feminine energy naturally withdraws from that, not because she's cruel, but because she's wired to seek stability. She wants to feel that you can hold space, not just for her, but for yourself. There's also a philosophical layer to this. Confidence is not the absence of doubt, it's the refusal to be ruled by it. You're going to feel uncertainty sometimes. You'll wonder if she's losing interest, if she's seeing someone else, if you're texting too little or too much. That's normal. But what sets confident men apart is their ability to stay grounded even in the unknown. They don't chase clarity from her. They embody clarity in themselves. This shows up in how you handle silence. A man lacking confidence will spiral if he doesn't get a response. He'll double text, over-explain, start overthinking. But a confident man knows attraction doesn't live in constant feedback. It lives in energy. He trusts the dynamic enough to let it breathe. He also knows that his value isn't just in what he can offer, but in how he offers it. When you text with confidence, your words carry a different weight. You're not begging for connection. You're offering it. You're not performing. You're expressing. There's a calm assertiveness in your tone, a self-assured rhythm in your timing, a depth in your emotional presence that says, "I'm good with me, and I'd love to share that energy with you, but I don't need to." Women pick up on this instinctively, even over text. They feel when your attention is a gift, not a plea. They feel when you're grounded, not grasping. And when they feel that, they relax into your presence, even through a screen. So don't be afraid to take the lead. Don't hesitate to say what you want, suggest what you envision, or express how you feel without waiting to see if it's safe. The moment you stop needing her reaction to validate you is the moment she starts feeling drawn to you. Because in the end, the most attractive message you can send isn't in your words at all. It's in the energy behind them. Quiet confidence, calm leadership, emotional certainty. That's what she can't resist.